Warning! The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Geoguessr. We are doing a balance work today. It's a map by Debray, but if we say it's a map by anybody else, it might be funny. We're not going to. We're not that much of a prick. We are somewhere. We have a lot of yellow license plates, but we also have some white license plates. The yellow license plates would put us in Japan. And the white license plates, obviously, not in Japan. So my concern is, we are on a little tiny road. We have language, but we never recognize it. I want to say we are in Japan, but I don't have the confidence I probably need to fully say it. We don't have a area code yet, which would help us pinpoint a general region. Not necessarily the exact region, but a general area of the country. There's the dot Hong Kong, so that changes everything. You know what? That actually looks pretty good. Making me hungry. It's making me hungry. Now that we know that we're probably in Hong Kong, what do? We have the Lam Tay Main Street. But this road is not marked. Left-hand side, it says Hong Kong. For some reason, we've been getting a lot of the Asian countries recently. Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, Korea, Japan. It just... something about... I know it's different than the other map, but, like, it's still happening. Szechuan Bay. I know it's not Szechuan. But just... it's better that way. That's not, but, like... we're close. His Tinshu Way, which I think was... what the road was. No, Lam Tay Main. Is Lam Tay a region around here? Maybe somewhere? I wouldn't be surprised, right? His Tinhua, here's wetland. Lam Tay maybe exists where we're looking. Maybe it doesn't. We only have 30 seconds, which sucks. I love how I forgot to disable it again. We have Young Long and Twin Man. The fact, though, that the Szechuan Bay over here, Senshin Bay, I think that's actually good. But here is Tung Wang. Hopefully it's the same kind of general area. But we're out of time, so it doesn't really matter. And actually not bad. Tourist guessing kind of around the same area over by Senshin. It ends up being... I don't know, but here's Lam Tay Main. Which we came to, I think, this road. Which is Castle Peak Road. Over by Lam Tay. So... did we really miss Lam Tay on the map? I think we missed it, which is actually surprising to me. I mean, we just missed it, right? How did we miss it? I couldn't tell you. It just happened. This feels pretty U.S., Canada, maybe. Sun is to the south, so it puts us in the northern hemisphere. We don't have any road markings. We do have your typical U.S., Canada style plate. Not the elongated EU plates. Dual yellow divider line. Adopt a road, East Hampton Town. If it's East Hampton, that very well could be New York. So East Hampton is good all out here somewhere. I really wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. Driveways caution. Does it feel like New York? Not really. Could I see this being the Hamptons? Very much so. The only thing we have so far is something that says East Hampton. It definitely feels like we're near a beach. WPS Construction Corp. Not a company I recognize. If we do find a phone number, I should be able to recognize it. The license plates don't feel very New York, though. So there's got to be another East Hampton somewhere. But I don't know where it is. That's always the problem with finding a town that you recognize. That's a New York license plate. And that's the area code that it should be. Alright, so we're in East Hampton, over by the water. I think we went south. This is the corner of Fenwick and Fairview Ave. Somewhere in East Hampton. Now, we don't know if we're north or south. We just know that those are the road names. Fenwick and Fairview. Here's further. Further Windmill. Further Old Beach. West Dune. We could be north. Which, it would have probably helped us if we found something different. Springtown, Covey, Maple, Windmill. That's Gases, so we're not going to go that way too far. Still a lot of random town names and street names. I'm glad though that we are able to recognize it, right? Like that doesn't happen very often. We don't get someplace that we've been before. The issue is we just don't know where this road is, but hopefully we do have a good judgment. Here's Warwick, not Fenwick. We're kind of close. It ends in Wick. I'm just not seeing it, which could be a problem, but I mean, it could be East Northampton. Let's just choose a random fucking road at this point, right? Hither. Come hither. And it ends up being actually a lot further east over by Montauk, which isn't bad. So here's Fenwick, and here's Ferndale. So, could have been a problem. If we would have been able to find 27, I still think we would have guessed out by East Hampton because it said it on the sign. Only if we would have seen something that said Montauk would we have probably guessed out by Montauk. But I'm actually planning to go fishing off of Montauk, to go tuna fishing out here. I don't know how far it is. It's like 100 and... not 100. I think it was like 500 miles from shore. We do have Gen 2 coverage. Here's the halo with what I believe is South African lines. We are on the left-hand side, which would make sense for South Africa. My only concern is what if it's Lesotho or Eswatini? Maybe. Eswatini. Kind of open. We do have some hills in the distance. The Gen 2 coverage makes sense. 171 does not, unless it's T71. It's T71. Who has T roads? I don't think I've ever seen T. Lesotho has A's. I know Eswatini has M's. Does anyone have a T? T71. From what I can see from the distance we're looking, it doesn't really feel like it. The only other option might be Botswana. But I also don't think Botswana uses T roads. I also don't think they have Gen 2 coverage. I think everything in Botswana is at least Gen 3. We do have a green sign coming up, which says Bot Chablot East. And then there's Bloemfontein and Ladybrand on N8. So Bloemfontein is come on over here. Here's 8, but it's not N8. Does that make a difference? Maybe. Ladybrand is right on over here. So we're in between these two. R26. So here's R26 down here. It does say N8, so I'm thinking we have to be on 8. Can we... what does this one say? Ishabello East? Botshabello East. So here's Botshabello right here. So I'm thinking we have to be, I guess, nearby? Kind of feels like not this intersection. If we do return to start, this said T71, right? What if that's going to be one of these small fucks? The road should be on the eastern side, so it should be going... you know what? The northern side. It makes more sense. So the northern side of the road should be a T71. It kind of interacts with it. Maybe it's just not listed. That kind of feels like straight off of it. And we're assuming we are on 8. This feels like more of where it should be. Although there's no bank right there. Well, shit. And it does end up being the other side of the road. Here is T71 or 8 or whatever that number was. Definitely not listed on the map. That sucks. Tourist does end up getting a little bit closer. Not a bad idea. If we would have gone over the hill, it looks like we would have found a huge town. We went south. Not necessarily the best way to go, but still not a bad way to go. We do have some blur. That doesn't necessarily mean we're in Germany. Although that kind of looks Cyrillic. Elongated white plates and a shitty road. Although not the worst road we've seen. Yes, it was definitely a blur because it cleared up. Just in case, you never know. Some weird things have happened. It's a truck. I know I could spend the time translating it, but would I do that anywhere else? You know? I wouldn't look at a truck in a language I didn't understand and try to translate it, because that just makes no sense. Right? Because that ends up being, you learn the name of the shipping company. Like, not important enough. Cool. Like, you could showcase that you could translate, but like, you just spent too much time trying to figure out where you were. That, on the other hand, fuck. That might be worth it. The X's, not too familiar with. I don't think I've ever seen X in the Russian language before. Which, that could be a problem. What if it's not Russian? I don't see the letter I, so we could probably say it's not the Ukraine. However, with the elongated plates, without a blue bar, it probably has to be Russia, right? So X in the Russian language. Maybe I have seen it. Maybe I have. It makes more sense if I have than if I haven't. Maybe yeah, because here's another X. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. Maybe you know what? It's probably like one of the few letters that I don't know what it translates into. And if I don't know what it translates into, it just doesn't exist. That's usually how we go. It kind of feels like it's maybe down here. Yeah, here's an X down here. So it turns into a K. Okay. Wouldn't be surprised if we are down here. However, we need to keep our options open, and it does kind of feel Eastern. I guess we don't see the letter X too often. Does that say Moscow? That might not be Moscow. Let's go over by... what do we want to go to? I don't even know. Kemerovo? It's the one place that we're going to screw up, so you know what? We might as well just deal with it. We were doing so great. And then the letter X confused us. It happens. Alright, we need to go back and definitely relearn Cyrillic. It ends up being a town called Perm, which I want to say we didn't see. Right? We definitely didn't see Perm anywhere. We did see, like, none of these either. Well, that sucks. It doesn't ever even be in Perm. It ends up being on, like, the suburbs south of Glushata. But I don't even see the letter X around here. So whatever we saw on that sign, maybe it was a district, because here's the letter X. Maybe it was about a district in the city of Perm, and we just didn't pay attention. Bhutan. You guys told me that those cement blockers are inherently Bhutanese. So somewhere in the mountains of Bhutan, on a winding road, in the middle of nowhere. You know, we might be able to get something from the sign. I think it says something city? Cafe. Tushita Cafe. If we can get... We can't. It looks like Wing Hyung something Bhutan, which should be the name of the town. Now, there's a good chance we continue down this road, we're not going to find any other good clue, right? So maybe Warmong? It definitely looks like it starts with a W, and this looks like it starts with a Y. So here's Wangju Parang, which maybe that's a P, which would put us literally right over here somewhere. I could see that maybe being a thing, because it's a W and maybe a P. And this is the only place so far that we've seen that it's a W and a P in 2 different words. That's it's probably not a good place to guess, but I really have nowhere else to guess. We're gonna take the chance. We're gonna keep going, and we're gonna hope we could find something else that's either A, a little bit more clear, or B, that is a better thing to look for. I mean, we could always use the shape of the road, but I also feel like I don't trust Google enough to capture the shape of the road. We're definitely in Bhutan, 100%. Like, there's no doubt in my mind this is, in fact, Bhutan. But I don't think we've ever gotten, like, a perfect score in Bhutan. Mainly because we never really find road numbers, alright? It comes down to, if you're in the city, you might be able to get it. But if you're in the countryside like we are, you're not really going to find anything. We found maybe one sign, and that one sign maybe had the town that we're currently guessing in listed on it. But it wasn't clear enough, so we're guessing. We're assuming based on what maybe was behind the blurry text. It's obviously better than Russia, but like, come on. Come on. Perm? Out of any fucking place in Russia? That's one of the names we would recognize if we saw it. And maybe it was there, but maybe we just ignored it. I feel like that right there is kind of where we have our guess currently. With that ish. Maybe not. We're probably more to the east. Maybe. I feel like we're at like a spike or something. Maybe it's that spike. And it actually ends up being 32 kilometers or 20 miles further east. Now, it ends up being the Kemipokto Ruki Habji. So it starts with a K, not a W. That was actually the one letter I was convinced it was a W. And it does end up with an R. So does that help us? Not really. We're kind of in the middle of Taurus's guess. So we did get a better guess, but Russia still is going to be the killer. I mean, 4 pretty decent guesses in Russia. So let's see. We're in 6th place. So Taurus is in 1st place at 24,740. Very good score. We definitely need to relearn Cyrillic. Cedric is in 2nd at 24,553. Rum's in 3rd at 23. Also not getting Russia. Instead going with a random town in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to say probably a lucky Russia guess. Martin in 4th, not in Russia as well. E-Channel in 5th. It comes down to how good of a Russia guess did you have. But not getting Long Island either. Going with upstate New York instead. Did everyone get Long Island? Martin went with upstate. Rum got it. So you guys probably found something that said Montauk. Because you all went for Montauk instead of East Hampton. We came in 6th with Russia being the problem. Bo in 7th with Russia and the United States. And then 59. Not getting a guess off in Bhutan. Well, that sucks. You would have, you definitely would have had a good score. But that is going to be where we call it. Now, I do apologize for no stream today. I actually have to help my sister open her salon. Not bad. New York's in phase 2, so hopefully everything continues to go the way it's going. Because that means we could get back to normal eventually. And that means, I don't know, hopefully we get like a vaccine or something to save the day. But until tomorrow, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. And bye-bye.